Yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Dot Me Now Coaching and Entertainment. For coaching, my links are down below. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to make discipline become a habit and also understanding keystone habits, which is very important if you want to build discipline and make your discipline become a habitual thing, right? So, without further ado, let's get into this video. Alright, so look, understand that discipline is way easier when you automate your behaviors. Every time you give into a temptation, it's way harder to resist it the next time. And I would always think about this. I'm like, yo, if I do this, it's going to be harder to not do this again, right? And vice versa. If you don't do something, it becomes easier to not do it. You see? So understand that, and also understand that you can automate behaviors to the point where you automatically see through temptations and you're able to replace it with something new. So imagine that you didn't even have to fully think in your head like, oh my God, I shouldn't do this thing, but I want to do this thing. At some point, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, that's an illusion. Let's just do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like seeing an illusion makes you want to do a good thing and not the bad thing. You see, or seeing a temptation, right? Seeing a temptation that isn't good for you makes you want to do something that's good for you automatically. You can literally set your brain up and your body up to literally do this, right? And this happens when you start to form habits, right? Now, people say that it takes 21 days to form a habit. They when studying this, I saw that it can take 18 to 254 days to build a habit, and the average is about like 2 months or like really like 66 days to make a behavior automatic, right? So it could take anywhere from 18 to 250 days, somewhere around like 60, 70 days average, you see? So once again, every time understand that every time you do a good behavior, it makes it easier for it to stick. So doing these good behaviors for 18 to 250 days, average 66 days will start to make it automatic where you don't even think about it no more, right? So understanding that there's three main elements to a habit. You have the cue, the action, and the reward. So the cue could be like seeing something or feeling something, then you do something, there's a certain action, and then you get a reward, which is usually the feeling after doing it. A big one for a lot of men that I see them talk about is Instagram, right? Instagram is a cue. They go on Instagram and they see a woman whose form is very agreeable. Then they have an action. They hit up that corn, right? They hit up that corn, right? And then they start to do some very unholy things to themselves, right? Then after that, they get the reward, which is busting, you know what I'm saying, that acorn. You feel me? Another cue could be like you go outside and you smell some food that you know you shouldn't be eating. Then the action is to go and get the food, and then the reward is tasting good food. You feel me? And there's several of these cues and stuff like that, right? It could also be something that's more mental, like for example, your feelings get hurt, or like you feel sad one day. Then the action is to go get a bucket of ice cream, or it's to just do something which isn't beneficial. Then the reward is the pleasure that you get from that thing. So it's really important to understand how habits really work. There's a cue, an action, and reward. And sometimes the cue is just the fact that it's a certain period of time. Oh, it's 6 p.m. Now I got to do this action to get this reward. So a cue could be something that you see in the outside world. It could be a thought or a feeling. It could be a certain time. It could be certain people. When I see these people, I do these things. You see, really start to understand the bad habits that you have and what causes you to do them. Because to override a bad habit, right, simply just replace the action and the reward after your cue. This is going to be hard the first time and the second time, but as you do it more, you start to make it an automatic habit. This is how, when you run into some BS, you can literally program yourself to do the right thing simply by just understanding that, okay, hold up. That's a cue, right? If you understand what makes you do certain bad things, you can understand the cue. Oh, when I start to feel bad, instead of feeling bad and grabbing ice cream, I should feel bad and do this meditation real quick. And then I'll get the reward of feeling peaceful and calm. You see? You see what I'm trying to say? Or when I feel bad, I'll journal. Instead of just, like you start to notice what the cue is, and then then at first you consciously choose to do something new, and as a result of doing something new, you get a new reward, and it gets cemented inside your brain more and more and more. You feel me? And then over time, whenever you see a cue and a temptation, you'll automatically want to do the right thing because you program yourself to do that. You feel me? So now let's get into keystone habits, right? A keystone habit, right, is pretty much a habit that leads you to change in several other areas of your life. There's certain habits that if you do this habit, is going to change not only this area, but many other areas of your life. One of the biggest keystone habits is regular physical activity. Studies show that it can reduce overeating, it can reduce smoking, it can reduce drinking, it can reduce unhelpful risk taking. You see, so literally working out or just moving your physical body, right? Getting into physical activities can make you stop doing a whole bunch of other things too. It's great for building this. It's great for building discipline in all areas of your life, not just working on your physical body. You see. There's also food journaling, which is when you write down the food that you eat and the calories, right? That pretty much you journal your food intake, right? You can either write down everything that you ate or write down what you ate and the calories for it too. And it's a big keystone habit that makes people eat less, right? But there's actually a study where people were told to journal their food intake if they saw changes in other areas of their life. You see? So being aware of what you're eating and then naturally, because when you write it down, you'll probably naturally reduce it anyway. When you do that, you start to build discipline in other areas of your life as well. Meditation has at least 20 scientific benefits which carry over to other aspects of your life. Which, by the way, even though I'm mentioning meditation right now, I'm gonna mention meditation in later videos and probably some of these other keystone habits too, and probably add in more keystone habits as I go on about this course, right? But another one is waking up earlier. That's a keystone habit, even if it's just for 15 minutes. You feel me? Trying a new thing every single day is a keystone habit, which you can imagine, because if you're trying a new thing, when you build a new skill and you also face adversity to learn that skill, so you get better at facing difficult challenges also, while also building a new skill. Saving money is a keystone habit. You can imagine that, because if you're saving money, you're going to be less impulsive in all other areas of your life. Expressing gratitude is a keystone habit, and I just recently found out why that is. Well, it's probably for many reasons, but one big thing is the fact that when you have more gratitude, you are satisfied with what you already have. Therefore, you don't feel a need to have to get more or add something to yourself. If you think that you already have enough, you don't got to go outside yourself to tap into this pleasure, which isn't even helpful to you anyway. You see, so being grateful can really be a keystone habit that changes other areas of your life, like writing 3 things down a day that you're grateful for. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, one change in your life can introduce multiple, and you can mix all these keystone habits too. You feel me? So keystone habits are like a freaking glitch, because when you do this one thing, you change in other areas of your life. And if you do all these things, you can only imagine the change that you're going to make inside your life. And I noticed this for, like, I was studying discipline a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard that working out was a keystone habit, bro, and I started like working out more, and I made it an intent to work out every day, not just work out when I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? That shit really did change my fucking life. And there was times where like I would work out less, and my discipline got lower also. You see? So yeah, that is really important, my guy. To do these keystone habits, right? Because when you slack on them, you could also end up slacking in other areas of life too. You feel me? So yeah, but this is another thing that makes it automatic, because when you do a keystone habit, you automatically change the other parts, and you kind of do it in a habitual way. So yeah, this doing following the steps in this video will make your discipline more habitual. You feel me? So if you enjoyed this video, like the video, comment, subscribe if you're new. I love you all. I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Peace. The freak out.